Good day, everyone. Good day, Sir Della Victoria. We are here to discuss the global media culture in Asia, in particularly in Southeast Asia. For the media content selected, news article is Singapore's Green Plan, aiming for sustainability in the urban landscape, the Straits Times. For the TV show, it's Maria Clara and Ibarra, Philippines GMA Network. And lastly, social media trend, which is hashtag Miss Universe Thailand 2024.
Cultural context. News article. The article discussed Singapore's Plan 2030, which aims to transform the state into more sustainable green urban space that focus on environmental consciousness, reflects Singapore's dedication to innovation, which balancing modernity with traditional culture identity, which values harmonious with nature. TV show. Maria Clara at Ibarra blends classic Filipino literature with modern sensibilities, reflecting Filipino pride and heritage, Catholic influence, and youth engagement with historical identity.
Social media trend, hashtag Miss Universe Thailand 2024, gained attention due to its advocacy for inclusivity and empowerment. The trend highlights beauty pageants' importance in Southeast Asian culture, often tied to national pride, identity, and social causes. For media representation, news article, the Green Plan is designed to engage various sectors of Singaporean society, including policymakers, businesses, and citizens. The government's emphasis on sustainability and green growth reflects a forward-thinking, collective mindset that prioritizes long-term environmental well-being. For the TV show, strong female protagonists and historical characters are portrayed. There is emphasis on gender roles, class divisions, and the conflict between colonial power and native culture, mirroring historical struggles in Southeast Asia. For the social media trend, the Miss Universe Thailand trend emphasized diversity, as the pageant included contestants with different ethnicities, gender identities, and background, representing modern views on beauty and identity in Southeast Asia.
Let us now proceed to the global influence of the media culture. The first will be the Singapore's Green Plan in the year 2030. It is a part of a broader global shift towards sustainability, as many cities worldwide are adopting similar environmental policies to combat climate change. So Singapore's strong economic standing positions it as a model for other urbanized nations in sustainable development. It also aims for eco-friendly policies, and this has inspired media campaigns across Southeast Asia and beyond. The plan influences documentaries, advertisements, social media content, and educational programs that promote green living, sustainable fashion, clean energy, and also climate action. The next global influence would be the storytelling patterns in the Filipino culture. While deeply rooted in Filipino culture, the series follows global storytelling patterns like fantasy, time travel, character arcs, making it accessible to broader audience. Like Filipino media blends local folk tales and values like bayanihan or family loyalty or resilience with global storytelling formats such as the hero's journey or live love triangle tropes, or even drama-inspired storytelling. Shows like Provinciano or Maria Clara at Ibarra follows global storytelling arcs but are deeply rooted in Filipino identity. So this cross between local essence and global narrative forms showcases how international patterns are reimagined in Filipino culture. And lastly would be the beauty pageants in Southeast Asia often mirror global standards, example Miss Universe, but local costumes and fashion give them a distinct regional identity, like global social justice themes like body positivity and LGBTQ inclusions are also visible. That is why it is a good conduct on how global influences in these pageants. So each contestant has its representation and identity in their own countries. That is all. Thank you.
Audience receptionists. News article. The primary audience includes Singaporean citizen, business, and government officials focused on urban development and sustainability. It also drew its attention of global environmentalists and policymakers interested in green urban initiatives. TV show mainly targeted at Filipino youth and adults familiar with national history. International viewers, especially those interested in cultural drama, also appreciate in its unique narrative and historical lessons. Social media trend. Primarily Southeast Asian netizens, especially in the Thailand and the neighboring countries, but it also caught global attention from the pageant fans and advocacy groups.
Did you know that Singapore is one of Asia's top green cities? Yes. In 2021, Singapore was ranked the most sustainable city in Asia. So how do they do this? Well, Singapore invests in renewable energy, they improve energy efficiency, they reduce waste, and they also protect the environment. Some of Singapore's initiatives include the Singapore Green Plan 2030, which includes goals for sustainable development, such as cutting down greenhouse gases. There's also the Jurong Island Circular Economy Park, which is the world's first industrial park dedicated to circular economy. And lastly, there's the 1 Million Trees movement, which is to plant 1 million trees by 2030.
Sa ganda mong taglay, sila'y maakit kapag tinapuan ng tanaw, mabibighani ang sinumang sisilay. ¿Quién es ella? La bulaqueña. Wari mo ay buhay na obra, hinalin tulad kay Maria Clara. Sino ka ba sa buhay ni Luna?
Summer nights, mid-July, when you and I were forever wild. Crazy days, city lights, the way you play with me like a child. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful?
Differences and similarities. Southern Asian media often reflects strong cultural heritage, social values, and national identity. Unlike North America, there is heavier emphasis on traditional values and collectivism. Media and cultural identity. Southeast Asia media plays a vital role in preserving cultural and history, while also adapting to modern issues and narratives. It bridges generational gaps and creates pride in cultural uniqueness.
Role of globalization. Globalization influences Southeast Asian media in terms of storytelling, production quality, and social values like inclusivity, but local identity remains central. This creates a hybrid of global modern and traditional local content.
Okay, so good day. I will be reporting on the class discussion. Number 1, how do media representations in Southeast Asia compare with those in other regions? Media representations in Southeast Asia are often influenced by local traditions, cultural values, and social structures, which makes them distinct from other regions. For example, Southeast Asian media tends to place a strong emphasis on community, family values, and social harmony, reflecting the collectivist nature of many Southeast Asian cultures. For example, in Indonesia soap operas or Filipino teleseries, storylines often revolve around familial relationships, loyalty, and overcoming adversity together, which are core cultural values. In contrast, Western media like the US or Europe often emphasize individualism, personal growth, and the pursuit of success, as seen in shows like Friends or The Office. Additionally, Southeast Asian media often blends modern and traditional elements. For example, films or dramas may incorporate elements of local folklore, mythology, or history, which may not be as prevalent in the media of Western regions, where there is a stronger focus on current events and modern themes. For example, again, Thai dramas like Love Destiny incorporate elements of historical culture which appeal to local audiences and reflect national pride, while Western media might focus more on present-day issues or futuristic settings as seen in shows like Black Mirror. Number 2. In what ways does Southeast Asian media influence global media cultures and vice versa? Southeast Asian media has begun to exert a more significant influence on global media cultures, particularly with the rise of K-pop and Korean dramas, which have captured the attention of a global audience. While K-pop is South Korean in origin, its influence has permeated through Southeast Asia, and the cultural exchange between these regions is evident in fashion, music, and media trends. For example, the massive global success of K-pop has inspired many Southeast Asian countries to develop their own music industries that cater to global trends, such as Thai and Filipino pop music. Moreover, platforms like YouTube and TikTok have allowed Southeast Asian creators to go viral globally, showing how digital platforms contribute to the cross-cultural exchange. Conversely, global media trends have a significant impact on Southeast Asian media as well. Western pop culture, Hollywood movies, and social media trends influence content creation in Southeast Asia. The growing popularity of streaming services like Netflix in Southeast Asia has introduced new forms of content consumption that were previously not as widespread in these regions. For example, the release of Money Heist on Netflix has had an undeniable influence on audiences in Southeast Asia, leading to local adaptations such as Money Heist Korea. Additionally, reality TV shows like The Voice and America's Got Talent have inspired similar formats in Southeast Asia, with countries like the Philippines creating their own versions, reflecting the cross-cultural impact of global media. 3. What are the implications of global media trends on local cultures and societies? Global media trends have both positive and negative implications for local cultures in Southeast Asia. On one hand, global media introduces diverse perspectives, entertainment, and new ideas that can promote cultural exchange, broaden societal views, and lead to increased creativity. For example, the global popularity of anime from Japan has inspired Southeast Asian creators to explore and experiment with animation in a similar style. In the Philippines, for example, local anime-style series like Barangay 143 are gaining traction, blending both Filipino culture and the animation style popularized by Japan. On the other hand, global media trends can sometimes lead to erosion of traditional cultural practices and values. As younger generations are exposed to international media, there can be a shift in values towards more westernized ideals such as individualism, materialism, and changing gender roles. For example, the increasing presence of Western fashion trends and beauty standards in Southeast Asian media has led to a greater emphasis on global beauty ideals, which sometimes conflicts with local traditional notions of beauty, causing pressure on individuals to conform to these external standards. Similarly, Western movies and TV shows may overshadow local storytelling traditions, leading to a decline in the production of indigenous films and stories in some Southeast Asian countries. Overall, while global media trends create opportunities for cultural exchange and modernity, they also pose challenges related to the preservation of local cultures and identities. The key challenge lies in finding a balance where global influences enhance rather than dilute local cultures.